G'day cocktail lovers, June 19th is Martini Day. If ever a cocktail deserves its own day, it's Martini. The king of cocktails, as far as I'm concerned. What else can get you, really pleasantly buzzed while looking quite so sophisticated? The whole mystique around the Martini is an incredible thing. And don't even go with the James Bond Vespa Martini. Terrible drink. Terrible. And don't even talk to me about vodka or gin. It's not even a question. That's an excuse to punch you in the face if you fucking say vodka. Gin and dry vermouth. And within that, there's so much to play with. You could use quite a range of gins, and you could use quite a range of ratios of the gin to the vermouth. And I'm not averse to getting a little creative with what you put in something inspired by a martini either. My preferred is dry. A dry gin, a dry vermouth, and a ratio of about 5 or 6 to 1. 5 or 6 parts of gin to 1 part vermouth. Some people go even more extreme than that. They'll just put a splash of vermouth in the glass, swirl it, and tip it out. I do like just a little bit of vermouth as a modifier. But the big thing with a martini is cold. Gotta be cold. That's a part of the whole thing. With that in mind, I've got my martini glasses chilling, because the longer the glass stays cold, the colder the drink will be as well. And yes, martini glasses. I'm making 2 martinis. Why the hell not? Because I'm going to compare what it's like with different bitters in the martini. Now, bitters in martini is definitely optional, but it's reasonably common, and it's usually orange bitters that would be used. Just a dash, maybe 2 dashes of orange bitters, depending how you like it. Within the YouTube cocktail community, and it is quite a community of great people, there was a talk recently, guys were saying, hey, celery bitters. I've never used celery bitters, but because it's a slightly savoury bitters, there was real talk up, no, this in a martini is really good. So I literally went out and bought celery bitters just to see if it improved my martinis. Like I said, there's a whole range of gins you could choose from. I go for dry gins. This one in particular from local distiller Patient Wolf. They call this their Pink Lake Gin because it was distilled with salt from, pink salt from a lake near Melbourne. There's a very faint pink tinge in the gin. It's not artificial, it comes from the salt, and the head distiller at Patient Wolf said this was specifically designed to be a martini gin. So I'm all on board with that. For a dry vermouth, this one's from South Australia, from Unico. These people do both gins and liqueurs and wines. There's a pairing between the Applewood Distillery, who do some fairly high-end gins, and the Unico wine people who do some of the liqueurs and the vermouths along with regular wines. So these are going to be the components I put in. And I get to decide, do I prefer it with orange bitters, which is how I've always done it, or with celery bitters. It's pretty easy to make a martini. I'm starting with 2.5 ounces or 75 mils of gin, and then adding 15 mils, half an ounce of vermouth, and then 1 to 2 dashes of the bitters. Add ice to the glass, stir that for a good 25 to 30 seconds because you want it really chilled and it needs a bit of dilution. This is a very boozy drink. And I've strained it into the chilled martini glass, and my preferred garnish for a martini is a twist of lemon peel. And here we are, the 2 martinis. The second one with the celery bitters is for some reason opaque. I don't know why. That's the celery bitters reacting to the others. It's the first time I've used it, so I'm honestly not sure. This one is traditional, very clear martini. This is the one I'd normally have, so I'm going to taste it with the orange bitters. That is a beautiful, crisp, clean martini. You know you're a weirdo martini drinker when you're drinking something that most people think tastes like rocket fuels, and you're just going, ooh, that's like icy mountain water. You say that to people who don't normally drink martinis, and they look at you like you're some sort of lunatic, and maybe I am. But now, my first try with the celery bitters, and that definitely brings in a savoury vegetal edge. You can tell the celery element, although, there's possibly an element of the power of suggestion in there. They're both great, so I think it depends what you're after. If you want a little citrus edge, a bright edge to your martini, go with orange bitters. And if you want something a little more savoury, with little vegetal elements, go with celery bitters. Both fantastic. And yes, I am back on my double fist and bullshit. Two fairly generously proportioned martinis. I am going to have to just chill for the rest of the night, because when you're doing something this strong, you really need to exercise caution. To be at least a bit responsible with the drinking. So I'm going to sit down and drink them so I don't fall down, essentially. And I'm going to say cheers to you. Hope you're taking care of yourself, and I hope you're back sometime soon. I might even do something a bit more pedestrian than 2 large martinis. Then again, maybe not. Who knows? You'll have to come back and find out. I hope you do, and I hope to see you again soon. Until I do, cheers.